training program about PQ. PQ is a gelding, aged 16. He's the standard breed, standing at 15 hands high. PQ is doing this training program due to he's just coming back into work after having a long period off due to a right hind leg injury. Due to his age and the minimal amount of schooling, the decision was made the training program would be done thoroughly and through using the scales of training. As you can see, we're doing an in-hand assessment looking at his way of going, and you can tell by this video now he dishes with his front two legs. Next we done a lunging assessment. Looking at this lunging assessment, PQ sticks his head to the outside. H.M. Clayton 2016 states that horses that look to the outside are doing this to counteract being unbalanced on the circle. Also, the speed within which PQ goes varies. This is because he's got no rhythm and due to his balance. Final improvement is the bond between the trainer and him. This is because it took approximately an hour to catch him the first time, due to him being so nervous. Because of the lunging, this will create a better bond, and we've done this because we've looked at various different training methods and found that Monty Roberts would be one that was beneficial for us. Also, E-Visa 2009 says that body language and sympathetic horsemanship improves behaviour and horses' welfare. Through ridden work, PQ will be doing numerous amount of circles varying from large to small. This is because this will help him supple through the neck and bend, also make him start to step his hindquarters underneath him. This will then help encourage the flexion through the neck and balance with the additional weight on top. By having the additional weight on top, this will allow him to have the feel of having a rider back on top of him, and also we're being able to see if he is coping with the weight on top, because before that we was just doing lunging work without the additional weight. So this was just an assessment to see if he could cope with the weight on top. As you could see, when he was circling with the rider on top, he found it hard to step underneath himself, and it slightly sometimes looked like he was going to fall over because he was so unbalanced. So because of this, we decided to use the gadget of side reins. However, if there was the opportunity to use a Pessoa, this would have been the preferred gadget to use, due to the fixation of the side reins can sometimes do more damage than good. However, it can allow him to encourage to drop down long and have a bit more inside bend. And you could see during him just trotting there along the long side, he was okay. However, coming towards the bend, he started to become unbalanced and started to turn his head to the outside. Although the rhythm that he's starting to have is starting to improve, and he's starting to engage through the hind a little bit more. Hill work. Hill work was introduced in about the 3rd week of his training program. This was because, looking through research, Heather Thompson 2001 stated that hill work would help with conditioning and the horse's performance. Also, it's a better way for him to improve his stamina and power, which is therefore going to help him gain more muscle through that hind end, and especially the one that he's just done the damage on, which is going to be slightly weaker than the other side anyways. Also, it's going to start improving his coordination and his balance, because he's going to have the balance to go up the hill. Because of this, and the fitness level that he had increased, we had to then start to improve the intensity levels that he had. Therefore, we started to do some trotting up the hills, short spurts of trot, then walking, another short spurt of trot, just to have that little bit more intensity in the workload. A slight inside bend improvement. So, as I've said, the majority of his workload was done by lunging. This was a good decision made. We felt that because of the additional weight, because he's older, would have had more of an effect than progression, whereas the lunging has progressed him forwards, and you can start to see a slight inside bend as he's going round. The side reins did help to improve this. He did start to drop his nose down a lot more. You can see through the video that he's a lot more comfortable on his right rein than his left rein. This could be because of the injury that he's had, or could be just that this is his better rein that he works on. We found that the video and camera that we used had made complications through the video, as he tended to look to the outside and spook when they saw them, which therefore could have then caused him to look to the outside slightly more than he would do if anybody was actually there. So that was taken into consideration when the lunging part was done. However, you can just start to see here now that the inside bend is coming, although the rhythm is being lost, and that's just because he's having to regain the rhythm because he's changing and having to step underneath himself. When being ridden, this is when you can really see the improvement now. If you look just as he comes around the bend, he has got more inside bend and the rhythm is a lot better. Therefore, this has allowed him to have him to start cantering round the bends with a slightly dropped nose in a little bit of a contact, and not looking like he's going to fall over and he's unbalanced with it. Due to this, in the second to last week, we started to do some pole work. Whilst introducing the pole work, we only allowed him to trot on the straights to start with, because we felt that if we allowed him to trot round the corner and then come straight, this would unbalance him more, and due to the fact that he's already nervous, this could have more of an effect than it would do allowing him to progress. So he only trotted on the straight coming up to the jump or the poles. He became very unbalanced after the pole, which we found became a problem for the rider and for him. So doing it slowly also allowed his confidence to progress, and he started to progress to doing 2 poles that he started to trot over nicely forward, and he started to take you into the poles, which is a really good thing to have than having a horse that was backing away from them constantly. So we felt that the encouraging slow progressive way was the best way forwards for him. Due to this, in the final week of work, we decided to progress just to doing 1 single small fence. This was done in the same manner because we felt that adding another obstacle into it would have caused more effect if we let him trot round the corners. Furthermore, we finished by saying that the horse's rhythm and balance did improve more than the inside bend done. However, this is now allowing us to have further knowledge and know what we're doing with him in the future. Here is a slideshow of his further development after the training program was created and how much more improvement he has made throughout. However, this is not the end. There is still a long way for him to go. Thank you.